Hey, welcome to Box Entertainment. We're here, today is drum tracking day. Band have just popped out for lunch, so I thought I'd give you a quick tour around the drum kit, how we're miking it, how we're recording it. So let's go. Starting with the drum kit, we're using a Yamaha Absolute Hybrid Maple. It's a really beautiful kit. This is a 22-inch kick drum. There is no port on the resonant head, so the way we're miking this is two mics. The classic FET 47 here as a outside mic. This is basically capturing the real low-end resonance of the drum kit, all those 80 hertz and below. And then the second mic we're using with a Sennheiser 421, what I would call my in mic, but obviously it's not in. But this is really capturing the definition of the beta. As you can see, it's pretty much pointed spot on in the middle where the beta will be hitting on the front head, and then the sound traveling through to here. This is more capturing your kind of 80 hertz up and above, up to 120 or whatever, the real thwack of the kick drum. And of course, these mics blended together give you the real sub, but also the definition that you want from a kick drum. These mics are both running through Neve 1073 preamps, which give them a really nice, open, warm sound. A little bit of EQ dialed in there as well, just to highlight the frequencies that I want to hear from these two mics. Snare drum is mic'd pretty standard. We have our SM57 on the top and a SM57 on the bottom. They are running through a pair of API preamps, driven quite hard. The sound we're going for on this record is a very vintage drum sound, so I don't mind a little bit of saturation on my preamps. And then I've added a second mic here, which is a small diaphragm condenser. It's the Peluso CEMC6. Now this mic is just an option really for me in case I feel like I'm not getting quite the openness and the headroom from the SM57, then I can use a little bit of this condenser, or perhaps use it completely, and it'll just give me a slightly more, a sound that has a bit more breathing to it. How do I say that? It breathes more, there you go. To the overheads, this setup I've chosen to use the Glyn Johns technique, which is one overhead up here, which I kind of consider like a mono overhead in its position. It's right over the top of the snare, right over the top of the rack tom, and then that's coupled with a second overhead, which unconventionally is out here past the floor tom. So now this mic is also capturing a lot of the kit, the full image of the kit, but specifically and important is capturing the floor tom, also the ride and the crash, whereas this one obviously is capturing more hi-hat and this crash cymbal over here. Now this technique is really cool. It gives you that kind of vintage rock vibe, which is what we're going for on this record. Think Eagles, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, that kind of sound. This overhead setup doesn't give you the most wide of drum kit images. If you hard pan it, it tends to pull the snare drum kind of a bit out of center. So what I tend to do instead is pan this top overhead to around 10 o'clock and this floor tom's kind of side overhead to around 3 o'clock. And that lets the snare sit in the center of the image while you still hear the floor tom kind of over to your right if you're panning from the drummer's perspective, which I do. And then if you want to push the kit out a little bit to the left as well, obviously we have the hi-hat mic, which can be panned a little bit left and give you a bit more of that width to the sound whilst you still keep the snare bang down the middle. In terms of mics, these are Warm Audio 251s, which is the clone of the Telefunken 251. Really nice tube mic, again capturing all of the body of the drum kit, especially the floor tom, the rack tom and the snare. And you may notice I don't have any close mics on my toms. Again, this is because of the sound we want to get on this record. I'm not too much interested in the real close definition of hearing where exactly every drum is placed in the mix, but I want to just capture the real sound of the drum kit, and that's enough for me. Okay, next up are the room mics. So starting with this here, this is a Neumann USM 69, if I remember rightly. Yep, that's the one. It's actually a stereo mic, so it has dual capsules, but today I'm just using one of them. And this is kind of my like front kit mic. So it's pretty close. It's also picking up in cardioid, so it's not really capturing much of the room. It's purely just facing at the front of the kit and getting a mono image of what we're hearing if you were to stand here. This mic I'm running through a tube preamplifier. It's the Universal Audio 610 preamp, and then I'm running it into a LA2A compressor, which is doing quite a lot of compression on it. And I'm not looking for the natural sound of this mic. What I'm looking for is quite an aggressive drum kit picture that I can blend in with my close mics and add a bit more energy and a bit more vibe to the recording without hearing too much room. So that's the first one. And then over here, we go to more of our room mics. So I'll start with this middle one here. So this is a Neumann U87 Omni as the polar pattern. So this microphone is actually capturing as much from the back of the room and the reflections as it is capturing direct from the kit. So this is giving me, I would say, like a 50-50 blend of room and drum. Placed further away, obviously, so we're not getting too much of the real tight definition of the drum kit, but it sounds really nice. And again, the vintage sound, I don't want too much width in my drum sound, so this mic gives me another really good option to blend in with my close mics. In terms of the processing for this, I'm running it through an Avalon preamp, and then I have a parallel chain. I'm printing it to 2 channels on the desk. One is dry and one is slammed through a 1176. And again, so one is my natural sound and the second is for a really distorted and crunchy room mic, mono room mic. So that's that. And then just because we can and because it's fun to put lots of room mics up, we have a pair of Royer 122 ribbon mics, which of course are picking up in figure of 8. So again, this is giving me essentially a stereo version of what this U87 is giving me. It's giving me back of the room and reflections. It's giving me direct sound from the kit, but obviously they're a pair, so this we are able to pan out to the side and give a bit of width to the room, a bit of space. All ribbon mics are well known for their kind of gentle roll off on the top end, slightly slow response to the transient, so it gives us a really nice sound, nice and thick and vintage. And yeah, these are being printed straight onto the desk through 2 of the SSL channels, SSL preamp, and that's it, recorded clean into Pro Tools. And then any processing on these mics I will do during mixing. And that's it for the drums. Okay, so we're back in the control room now with our SSL 9000J, really beautiful console. I thought I'd give you a little sample of the drums we've just finished recording for the day, so I'll play them to you now. So sounding really nice. Let me just show you the overheads first. There's a really nice clear picture from just those 2 mics. A little bit of compression through a pair of 1176. I've put in some of the close mics, so the kick just adds a bit more definition. Snares, I've decided to use a full blend of both top snare mics plus the bottom. Sounds quite nice for me. The hi-hats are in there just a tiny little bit. And then with all the rooms back in, it sounds like this. Let me show you what some of the room mics sound like. So this is the USM69. It's a little bit quiet in the mix. I haven't kind of pushed it too loud, but you can really hear the saturation and the compression on that mic. Very, very vibey, but not too much, otherwise it'll overpower. Secondly, we have the Crush mic. This is the U87 in Omni. Again, I'm using the slam signal, a very different tone to the USM69. This one I've kind of made a little bit darker, has a little bit more low end in it. Again, blended in just a little bit. And then finally, we have our stereo room mics, the ribbons, which are a little bit stronger in the overall picture of the drums, giving us that width. And altogether, sounding really great. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video today. It's not so much a tutorial as a demonstration of one particular way that you can record drums and the sound you can get from that. Take whatever ideas you want from it, try some of your own, mix them all together, whatever. There's no right or wrong way to do this, so just have fun. And we'll see you next time here at Box Entertainment. Bye.